From this session, we are going to discuss the architecture of TMS 320C54X digital signal processor. I am not going to provide you the entire block diagram of the architecture at first. We will be discussing the different blocks available in the architecture sequentially one by one. After finishing the discussion on all the blocks, finally I provide you the overall architecture block diagram and give you an overview of the operation of the architecture, right? So the first two blocks what we are going to discuss in this session are bus structure of the digital signal processor C54X and the internal memory. Bus structure. The C54X digital signal processor has 8 major buses. All the 8 buses are 16-bit wide buses. The width of the buses are 16-bit. It has 8 buses where 4 are termed as program or data buses and 4 are address buses. Program memory and data memory, or the program is nothing but the instruction code, data is nothing but the operands with which the instruction are to be executed. Both the instruction and the data are to be fetched from the memory with the help of the address. So only we distinguish address and program or data as 2 units. Program or data buses are 4, address buses are 4. Program bus. These program bus carry the code or the program instructions, and sometimes it carries some immediate operands from the program memory. At all time the program bus carry the instruction or the program code, and at some times it carry the immediate data or the immediate operands from the program memory. I tell you at which situation this carries the immediate operand sometime later. So program bus is nothing but the buses which carry the program instruction or the code at all time, and at some times it carries the immediate data or operand from the program memory. Then it has 3 data buses. The 3 data buses are termed as CB, DB and EB. These 3 data buses are interconnected to the CPU data address generation logic, shortly termed as data AGL, program address generation logic termed as program AGL, on-chip peripherals and data memory. The data buses CB, DB and EB interconnects the CPU with the data address generation logic, program address generation logic and the on-chip IO peripherals, input-output peripherals and the data memory. Here CB and DB are used to read the data memory locations. The bus EB is used to write into the data memory location. Out of the 3 data buses CB, DB and EB, CB and DB are the 2 16-bit buses with which we can perform read operation from the data memory. EB is the 16-bit bus with which we do write operation on the data memory. Then we have 4 address buses, namely PAB, CAB, DAB, EAB. One is to mention the address of the program memory where from you can carry the code. CAB is the address bus which denotes the address where from the data has to be read with the help of CB bus. DAB is the address bus with which you can mention the address where from the data read operation has to be performed by the DB data bus. EAB is the address bus which denotes the address with which location you want to write the data using the data bus EB. In this way, we have 4 address buses PAB, CAB, DAB and EAB. All these 4 buses carry at all time only the addresses, and it generates 2 data or memory addresses per cycle. This digital signal processor C54X can produce 2 data address or memory address per cycle using 2 auxiliary register arithmetic unit called ARAU0 and ARAU1. We have two registers called auxiliary register arithmetic units. With these units, at the same time, the processor produces one data address and one memory address for each cycle. Next, the program bus carry operands to multiplier and adder. Already I specified, program bus at all time carry the instruction or the code with the data program lines, or sometimes it carry the immediate operand that sometimes denotes the operation of addition or multiplication. Whenever addition or multiplication is to be performed, this multiplier and adder block is going to be used. So during multiplication and addition operation, the multiplier and adder is provided with the second operand with the help of the program bus. Then we have an on-chip bidirectional bus to access the on-chip peripherals, to access the input and output devices which are connected with the on-chip, which are available as on-chip peripherals. We have a on-chip bidirectional bus. This is nothing but a separate bus. This is an extension which can be connected to the data bus DB or EB through a bus exchanger in the CPU interface. In the CPU interface block, we have a tool called bus exchanger. That bus exchanger is used to extend the data bus DB or EB as the on-chip bidirectional bus to connect it with the peripherals. But this on-chip peripheral bus requires 2 cycles or 3 cycles for read or write operation. Generally, the memory read or memory write can be performed with a single cycle in digital signal processor. But if you want to read or write a IO device, we need 2 cycles or 3 cycles based upon the operation to be performed. This is about the bus structure of the DSP processor C54X. The second block to be discussed with the architecture of C54X digital signal processor is the internal memory. How the organization is made with the internal memory. It has 3 different blocks called program space, data space and IO space. The internal memory may have read-only memory as well as random access memory. What is the necessity to have both? We have separate data memory and program memory, and we know the program will be permanent at most cases and data will be frequently changing and it is temporary. So the permanent programs will be usually stored in read-only memory and random access memory will be assigned as data memory which stores temporary data. This random access memory in this digital signal processor C54X may be of 3 types. One is dual access random access memory, another one is single access random access memory, or it may be two-way shared random access memory. This random access memory is either data memory or program or data memory. Mostly the data memory will be allotted with the random access memory. Sometimes we may prefer our digital signal processor to change the program also frequently. At that time, the program or data memory is selected as the random access memory. In addition to this random access memory and read-only memory, we have 26 CPU registers and peripheral registers in this digital signal processor C54X, which are mapped in data memory. CPU registers and peripheral registers. Whenever we try to access the CPU of the processor or the IO devices of the processor with the memory, we'll be using these registers to handle the data. It is mapped in data memory. What does it mean? We are already aware of the 8051 microcontroller architecture where the special function registers are mapped with the data memory. With the 256 byte data memory, 128 byte is allotted as data memory and the top 128 bytes are allocated as special function registers there. In the same way, here also the data memory which is made of multiple blocks or multiple pages, like in this the first page or the first block called 0th block is assigned as 26 CPU registers and peripheral registers. Next is on-chip read-only memory. What is the content in this on-chip read-only memory? This read-only memory always contains bootloader. What do you mean by bootloader? Bootloader is a program section which carries the operation to be performed whenever the digital signal processor is switched on. It is similar to the operating system available in desktop or laptop. This operating system takes as what are all the initial operations to be performed whenever you turn on your system. In the same way, here the bootloader performs the initial operations that are to be performed whenever this digital signal processor is turned on. In addition to this bootloader section, it may have some program or data if you wish to have that particular part of program or data as permanent. Next is on-chip dual access random access memory. It is composed of blocks. It has multiple blocks and you can perform 2 access per machine cycle as buffered serial port and host port interface. With the help of buffered serial port, CPU can access the memory, and with the help of host port interface, peripherals IO devices can access the memory. With a single clock, this dual access random access memory allows access from the CPU as well as access from the peripherals. So only it is called as dual access random access memory per machine cycle. Next is on-chip single access random access memory. As the name itself specifies, it allows only single access per machine cycle. That access may be read or write operation. The third type of random access memory is on-chip two-way shared random access memory. On-chip two-way shared random access memory is preferred whenever you are going to use your digital signal processor as a multi-processor device. When you are going to use more than one processor, you may prefer this type of RAM. This random access memory allows simultaneous program access into the memory by 2 different CPUs. 2 CPUs can parallelly access the random access memory and get data. But both the CPUs can directly perform only read operation on the random access memory. It allows write operation only through the DMA controller. DMA controller you would have studied in your microprocessor subject. So I think no need to explain more about DMA controller. And since the memory access is allowed by 2 CPUs parallelly, the entire memory is reduced half for CPU. So the effective memory for each CPU is reduced as 50%. This is about on-chip two-way shared random access memory. Next thing to be discussed is on-chip memory security. With this internal memory, how the security is ensured. You can do masking with the memory. If you want to have some memory location as highly private or highly secured, you can make it as masked or it is maskable. Maskable means you can close it. Masking is nothing but hiding. Maskable memory means the highly secured data which are available on that particular area of memory can be made as closed, which are not allowed to be accessed by every person. Only authorized persons can access the masked areas. That is the security option provided with the on-chip memory. Finally, the memory mapped registers. Already we discussed 26 CPU registers and peripheral registers are available with internal memory. This registers are available in the 0th page, initial page of the data memory. Data memory is made as blocks. It is like multiple pages in a book. With this multiple pages or blocks, the first page, we know that always the addressing starts in microprocessor or controllers with 0. So the page 0 is available as registers here, and these registers are memory mapped. What do you mean by memory mapped registers? For this also you can compare with 8051. In 8051, for all special function registers you can provide address, because with the top of the data memory 128 memory locations are allocated as special function registers. So for every special function register you can mention the address in the instruction. That is called memory mapping. In the same way, for the 26 CPU registers and peripheral registers, you can mention the data memory address where it is being allocated with the program. So only it is called as memory mapped access to the registers. This is about the internal memory block of the digital signal processor architecture C54X. In the future sessions, we shall discuss the further blocks one by one. Thank you.